Hello everyone and welcome back. So today this is going to be a bit of a different video. I know that I uploaded a creepypasta video earlier, but while I was just chilling and scrolling the internet, I came across a quite an interesting folklore, and I thought, you know what, I might as well talk about it because it really interested me. And I think I'm going to start talking about different folklores on this channel. So I'm going to be doing creepypastas and folklores because there are quite a few stories that do interest me personally, and they are quite similar to creepypastas, but these are more so to do with legends. So these are more like folklores that from different, I'm going to concentrate on different cultures as well, because there are quite some interesting ones. So today's one, like, I really like Japan. I'm into, like, all that sort of stuff. So I'm into anime, I love Japanese food, I love Japanese music, I love the fashion. So I have looked up different Japanese folklores before, because I just love the Japanese culture. I find it very interesting, especially because it's so different to the culture here in the UK. But yeah, it's something that's always interested me, and there's some bits that I really admire as well, that I think that we could use a lesson in learning here in the UK, but I guess that's like everywhere really. But yeah, so this one, folklore I'll be talking about today is a ghost one, just a heads up, and it's called Botan Doro, or the Peony Lantern. So the 17th century Botan Doro starts on the first night of Valban, when the souls of the departed are said to return to Earth. It tells the story of one Ogiwara Shinojo, who spots a beautiful woman being escorted through the streets by a servant carrying a lantern with a peony motif. He decides to chat her up, and the woman introduces herself as Otsuyu and accepts a man's invitation to his house, where they end up getting intimate, basically, being all lovey-dovey and all that jazz. She leaves before sunrise but promises to return. Ogiwara and Otsuyu's trust continue for weeks, until he starts neglecting his friends, his job, and of all other obligations. So we've just seen his new lady friend. One day, a concerned neighbour peeks inside his house and sees Ogiwara in the embrace of a moving and talking skeleton. The next morning, he warns Ogiwara that his bone buddy is quite literally a bone buddy, urging him to go talk to a local monk, who shows the man Otsuyu's grave with a weather-beaten peony lantern on it. The monk gives Ogiwara a talisman to protect him, and after that, Otsuyu's visits stop completely. Over time, though, Ogiwara starts missing Otsuyu. Trying to deal with the realisation he might be a necrophiliac, he starts drinking, and one night ends up near a grave, where he finds Otsuyu as beautiful as ever, waiting for him. She takes him by the hand, and that's the last anyone sees of Ogiwara. After a few days, the monk opens up Otsuyu's grave and finds a dead Ogiwara hugging a skeleton. An important detail of Botan Doro is the fact that Otsuyu's grave was intended to possibly make an apparition a moon butter cake. I'm sorry about the pronunciation, but that basically translates to the unattached Buddha. These were the ghosts of the forgotten, who spend their undeath fulfilling their most primal desires. This isn't something they can control. It's like an irresistible drive fueled by something more powerful than we could ever imagine, and it frequently appears in Japanese horror, where forces of nature or the supernatural are often unstoppable. So that's basically the folklore. I found this one quite interesting, because, like, I was finding it quite interesting, like, so, like, it was interesting that he managed to, you know, find a woman that he's interested in, so much so that even though she's legit a skeleton, he was none the wiser, and still loved her and still wanted to be with her, which I think is really sweet in a weird sort of way. Love is love. But it was a shame that he ended up, you know, turning to drink. I think, you know, it's easily done. You know, life gets a bit stressful sometimes, and obviously it was sad that he died in the end. But he was with his lover. You know, they say that love conquers all and all that jazz. But no, it was a very interesting one. I mean, he did go a bit far with the love, especially if he was neglecting all of his other responsibilities. I wouldn't recommend that. That's not healthy. You know, you gotta find that balance. I mean, I know I'm not exactly one to talk, but I'm no expert in this by any means. But you know, you gotta find that balance. You're still you at the end of the day. But it's a really cool one, and it's interesting because, especially with it being a different type of ghost, that you don't really hear about in Western media, really. The fact that it'd be like a forgotten one. I guess it reminds me of what's that film called? Oh, that Disney film, Coco. Like Coco, like basically, if you haven't watched Disney's Coco, because you're not a big kid like me, then it's quite a sad one, even though it's a Disney film. But basically, this little kid goes to, like, you know how to have Day of the Dead in Mexico. I also find that very interesting. So there's a young boy that goes to the land of the dead on Day of the Dead, and he needs to try and get out of there before, I believe it's midnight of the next day. I can't remember the exact time frame, but basically he needs to go out, or else he'll be stuck there forever with all of his dead ancestors. And a big part of that movie was one of the relatives did not want to be forgotten. Because in that movie, when there's forgotten and people didn't put a chair out for them at the table, or didn't, you know, make an effort to remember them during the Day of the Dead ceremony, and then it reflected it, like they disappeared basically in the world where they're, you know, passed on and where they're with the relatives. So yeah, it reminded me of that, really, because, you know, no one wants to be forgotten, living or passed on. And it's quite a scary thought, really, to think, like, you know, I know it's inevitable, I know I'm gonna die one day, and I know some people shy away from it. I don't really shy away from it, not that I want to, like, it's just that I know it's gonna happen one day, and it's not something that I personally fear. I do understand that other people probably do. I understand it's not probably the most cheerful thing to talk about, but me personally, I just see it as a fact of life. I just do what I can, enjoy life while I'm living. But I also appreciate that it's a natural order of things. It's not nice. I've had people that I've known that are close to me that I've passed on, but I still talk to them. I mean, like, when I'm alone, I'll talk to them. Yeah, I don't get a response, but, you know, it's remembering them, because people always want to be remembered. I think that's a really good takeaway to take from this. And, like, you know, like, I wouldn't want to be forgotten after I've passed on, even if I don't really have many people in my life now. Or some people would wish I'd be 6 foot under, but I'm not giving them that satisfaction, not yet anyway. But, you know, my time will come when my time comes, sort of thing. But yeah, but no, I find it very interesting. I mean, and I always try and respect those that have moved on. I mean, probably because I personally do believe in the afterlife and ghosts and everyone's being with you. Like, I'm into, I go to, like, a spiritualist church, and there's a medium there who does readings for everyone in the room. You don't always get a message, but I find it really interesting to hear what other people's loved ones say to them. I've never had a message personally myself, but I haven't known a lot of people that have passed away, but it's just really interesting, and I am very respectful in that sense, because I do believe that, like, you know, I have a spirit guide. I've never met my spirit guide, but I do believe in that, and that is something that does give me hope as well. It's probably why I kind of like respect, you know, people passing. Yes, it's so upsetting. Yes, I do find it difficult to deal with, especially grieving. Grieving's horrible, but it's also a balance. There's life and there's death. I mean, like, you know, you can't have one without the other, unfortunately. But yeah, I just find it really interesting, to be fair. But yeah, what was I gonna say? I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this one. I know that it's a bit of a different one. Let me know what you guys think, and if you guys have any folklores that you want me to cover, or if you want me to talk more and just do a separate video for the Day of the Dead. That is something I'm also very interested in, so I'll be more than happy to talk about it. But let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, then let me know by giving it a like and consider subscribing to my channel, because if this video does well as my other ones, like if they do as well as my creepypasta videos, then I'll carry on doing them on this channel, because it has been nice to do it. I know it's a bit of a shorter video, but it is nice to talk about, like, as much as I love creepypastas, it's nice to talk about folklore as well. I think I am definitely going to concentrate on more creepypasta and folklore in the future. So, but I am always up for ideas anyway, so let me know what you think, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye for now.